How's it going, YouTube? Coming today with another video, and today what I'm bringing you is the Banlist Prediction. Now, I'm very excited to bring you this video. Of course, the ban list is going to be kind of controversial as far as what you think could get hit, what you think couldn't get hit. So I definitely have a lot of takes that I want to go over today because I think that the ban list is going to go in a direction that won't really hurt too much of the meta, but it's definitely going to affect tier. I don't really feel like Sprite needs to get hit at the moment. I don't really feel like it's doing crazy things. I think that having like the Shizu package in tier has definitely been one of the biggest things for the format that a lot of different decks just can't really play with right now, because of the fact that even if you're playing Striker, you get all your spells put back into deck. If you're playing anything that needs Grave, it just is so unfortunate. So I think that it's going to lean heavier toward tier, not really Sprite, and then some odds and ends. If they do a massive ban list, I think that it could even affect certain cards like Striker Dragon, because if you have to think about like rebalancing a whole format, then it could go that way too. But I'm going to show you exactly what I have for you today as far as what cards I feel like could get on the ban list. And again, if you agree, let me know down below. If you don't agree, comment down below. Let's be constructive. That's all I ask, because this is something that is really fun to do, and I think that it's really cool, the theory as far as what could happen. And so here we go. And if you haven't already checked out my sponsors over at Imperium Duelist, Dragon Shield, or Gem, definitely go ahead and do so, all down in the description below. And if you haven't already heard, when I hit 16,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away the Player's Choice Collaboration Spellground, so definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's hop right on into our first card. First one I got for you today is going to be the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. And now this card has been insane throughout a lot of different metas, including the Samorglink meta where you couldn't even target the statue. Then we have Fluanderies right now, and then we will have the Arsenal Falcon thing with Kashtira. So this is the card that's definitely just gotta go. This is probably the single-handed most scary thing about the Fluanderies end board, the fact that you just can't special summon. I love playing Striker against this because, again, you can just tag into Hayate, so it just never mattered. But at the same time, this is definitely going to be a scary card in a lot of different situations. So getting rid of the Statue of the Stormwinds, I think, is definitely just correct. It's banned in Master Duel, it's banned in the OCG, so I think TCG will follow suit. I think this is just a card that's gotta go. But moving on from that, though, this might come as a surprise to a lot of people because I think more people are expecting this to get limited. But I do think that Perlarino is going to get banned because I don't think that Instant Fusion will get banned. So Instant Fusion is a card that I would like to see banned personally. I think that it's just really broken. It's a card that just isn't really needed to be in the game. But they did just release a new B Trooper level 5 in the OCG, and I really don't think that Instant Fusion is going to go anywhere in support of that. I do think, and this isn't on this list, but I do think that there is potential for Kit to go to 1 because of the fact that Unicorn becomes a lot better. But I have a lot of different options for things that are going to get limited in the first place, so I do hope that you enjoy that too. I do, however, think that Perlarino is just one of those cards where if you see it in tier, it just makes everything a lot harder to deal with, whether it's running over any of the monsters, whether it's getting the free search, the free destruction alongside the Keldo and Mudora in the graveyard, because the shuffleback is already detrimental enough, and then you get a destruction on top of it. Like, that's insane. So this is something that I think could get banned to really be able to refocus the deck and just focus everyone on using the new field spell, which is just a Foolish Burial, but it's going to work a lot better with things like King of the Swamp if we have to go back to playing that. So I do think that Perlarino will get banned, and honestly, it's unfortunate because this card's insane, but any card that has 3 different effects on it and they're all really good, probably gotta go. Really solid card though, of course, but I think that it's going to go. The next one I want to talk about is going to be Hornet Drone. So you might wonder why Hornet Drone's on here. So spoiler alert, I do think Engage is going to go to 2. I think that Striker is getting a lot of support right now, and what better to do than at least put Engage to 2. I think that you have to ban Hornet Drone though, because it was a problem before in Striker Draco, Striker Orcust, when Striker just became an engine. And Engage being an engine is scary. And that's something where having 3 Engage, 1 Drone, 1 Anchor was just the craziest thing that you could have. So I think to rebalance Striker and to keep all the power within Striker, not in other decks, that you have to ban Hornet Drone and then put Engage to more than 1. And I think that it's only going to go to 2, but I think that banning the drone is definitely going to make sure that this doesn't happen again, to where we just see a lot of different decks running Striker cards. And if they want to, then they have to play Rare Rose. Obviously there's linkage too, but then linkage also has the harsh restriction. to lock you into striker monsters, and that's why I think that they printed linkage was to ban drone and then put engage to more than one, so we didn't see the splash problem of having multiple engines, i.e. striker being the best engine. So I think that realistically could happen. Moving on to the limited cards though, the first one that I have for you today is going to be Magnemut. Now this might be a little too early, but if you look at what we have right now, we have Lubellion, Jerusalem, Sarnir, Magnemut, and now we're getting the new one, 3 of each of those. That's 15 visuals. That's kind of insane. Of course, Lubellion doesn't banish one, but it still searches. And then Magnemut on top of that, every single time they're able to banish and resolve the Magnemut, it's actually just insane, because then, especially if it's on your opponent's turn, which usually it is, you can go end phase summon that Druid Swarm and immediately either link off both and then get a free send, or you can go right into things like Wallow, into things like Beatrice. So Magnemut alone is really crazy, and I think this is definitely going to be the card that we see go to 1. Just overall, one of the wildest cards I've read in a really long time. But there are a lot of Bishul, so I think this is fair as far as a card that we could see go to 1. Next up here is Hobness. I don't really think this is a surprise to anyone. This card is just absolutely insane. Allows you to play on turn 0. Putting this to 1 definitely lowers the power level of the deck, because again, we are going to get tier cash, but if you want to use that effect, you have to banish another card from your hand that is tier or cash or grave. If it's turn 0, let's be real, there's not going to be a lot of situations where you are banishing if you want to keep that card advantage, but there are going to be a lot of situations where you just will, because you know that you can at least get a mill out of it, and there's a potential that you can hit something crazy. But I do think putting the Hobness down to 1 instead of having 3 of these is fair, because of the fact that the mills are just too crazy, and then also you can just use the Hobness as part of like a kit fusion summon. So Hobness is definitely a crazy card, so definitely putting this to 1 I think is fine. Ancient Fairy Dragon has the errata. I don't really think that this is going to be a problem. Definitely just going to go to 1 here, just because, again, errata cards that usually start off at 1. Look at Red MD. And then the next one here is going to be Keldo. I think this one's definitely just the one that has to go to 1. This is the Searcher, and again, it is one of the shuffle backs, so definitely want to make sure that we limit at least one of these. I don't think that anything else in the Ishizu package is going to get a hit, but I do think at the end of the day that Keldo is definitely the one that we have to put to 1. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw it get banned, but I think that it will just go to 1. There definitely is a problem in the format right now in the form of shuffle backs. These cards are actually just absurd. The fact that you can just interrupt an entire deck strategy, an entire deck's plan, just because you have 1 Keldo in the graveyard, you know, like that's just nuts to me. So definitely see this either to 1 or banned. I think realistically to 1, but maybe in the future we see less than that. Then lastly here we have Blaster. Blaster, again, just being one of those cards that I don't really think it's going to do enough to really warrant it to be banned again. I think Blaster's fine. Give Salad something. You know, there's a lot of talk with the fact that it is a level 7 and talking about like cash and maybe there's something that you can do. I don't know. But at the same time, I think Blaster's fine. Obviously, we can't have Redox or Title, especially Title. Title Pitch Enchanter seems insane. So definitely something that I don't want to see, but this is definitely fine. And then next up is the thing that we talked about before. I think just the 2 engage is going to be fine. This is a card that is definitely broken, but I do think that if you ban Hornet Drones, it becomes a lot less of a situation. So I think that this is perfectly fine to go ahead and just put to 2 and just see what it does. There's a lot of support coming out for Striker right now, so I definitely see it being a little more push, and I could see engage go to 2 because of this. But looking at the cards that I think are going to be off of the list, starting with the Recital Starling to 3, I don't really think putting it to 3 is going to matter at all. Bird Up really isn't doing anything right now as is. I think that it was just something to be like, oh, we'll put it to 2, then we'll put it to 3, but I don't even think it would have mattered if it would have went to 3 in the first place. It's a really solid card, but I don't really think it's going to change much by going to 3. The next one here is going to be Gazelle. Let Salad play the game. Like, the deck's not really doing anything. Let it have some kind of grind game. I think that would be pretty cool because it encourages the deck to be more of a mid-range combo, whereas now it's realistically just go for access code. So I think 3 Gazelle is definitely fair for this deck because the power level is just so low. Maybe a new support card in the future, hopefully, but 3 Gazelle, that's fine. Let the deck have that. And then the next two, we've talked about this in multiple videos. These are fine. 3 Resort and 3 Seconds Late. What are they going to do to the format? Like, I can't even believe that these cards are still on the ban list right now. Spiral Resort, there's no master plan. It's fine. Even if there was one master plan, it might be a little broken with tier, but I don't really know just off of the top of my head and like what the deck would look like right now. But at the same point, having 3 Resort, I think that's fine. And then having Seconds Late, there's so many counters, and even just cards alone like Dark Ruler that can just answer a board the second they see you're on Seconds Light and can't answer the Dark Ruler, right? So definitely a lot of different things that I think are just fine for the game. We probably could go through the ban list and just eliminate half of it right now, and some of the cards would be like, there's no way that can come off the ban list. It would come off the ban list and we'd just be like, you know, like, who cares? Like Morphing Jar, Cyber Jar, like, why are these cards still on the ban list? Who cares, you know? But that's just my opinion. And you might see this little area on the side here that I have not revealed yet, and that's going to be because there's always a crazy card that comes off the ban list, right? There's always a crazy card. In the last like 3 or 4 ban lists, we've seen one card that we're like, whoa, like that's back. And I think that this one might come as a surprise, but I do think that a lot of people think about it right now. A lot of people have this in the back of their mind, and you might say it's too early, but I think Hal could come back. All right, hear me out, hear me out. I don't think this card was as degenerate as a lot of people portrayed it, and I do think that when the card was banned, there was a big split in the community that was like, we understand why it was banned, but it wasn't that crazy. Like, there's a lot of other cards that are like real crazy, but I'm a firm believer that we can have nice things in the game without them needing to be banned. So, I don't know. That's just my take. What's your crazy card that you think could come off the ban list? Let me know down in the comments below, because this is where a lot of the discussion, a lot of the theory come from, and I really enjoy those conversations. So definitely let me know what you think down below. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel so that we can hit that 16,000 goal, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful night. Thank you all.